As we've progressed through the 2020s, it has become increasingly difficult to be a high performer, and whilst most of the society are walking around like zombie nation, just distracted by their phones, sugar, social media, all of this stuff that's there to distract you, the highest performers are going out there and absolutely smashing it out the park. If you want to know the difference between those that you aspire to be like and everything that they have that you want, and where you are now, the biggest difference that you'll notice is they have higher standards. In this podcast, I'm going to take you through how to raise your standards so you can close the gap between where you are and where you want to get to. Everybody wants to be better, right? If I asked you, do you want to be better? Do you want to better yourself? Do you want to be a better version of yourself this year than you were last year? Most people, especially high performers, will say absolutely yes. Well, the good thing is we all do. You know, we all want this constant improvement and we want to progress forward. And if you think about the people that you aspire to be like think about the people you look up to. You know, they've got what you want, they've achieved what you had. They have what you want, they've achieved what you want, they've got everything that you're setting out to get. What's the difference between them and you? Well, in most cases, it'll be their standards. You know, they have higher standards, the way they perform, the way they live their lives, the way they get up, the standards they get, the way they turn up. The standards they have for themselves are just higher than the standards you have for yourself. And what we want to do in this podcast is acknowledge this, appraise it, and then put a strategy into place to close the gap, take you to the next level. Now, I'm exactly the same. You know, this is not something that applies to, this is not something that doesn't apply to me. Raising your standards is something I do consistently through my life. And without a doubt, as I've gone through my professional career, it's been consistently but gradually raising your standards bit by bit, raising my standards bit by bit to get to where I am by becoming who I need to be. And what I want you to do is think about this, and just from listening to this podcast, think about what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. And from today, just start to raise your standards. Now, this can start off with the simplest of things. And this is a mindset hack. It's like, I want to rewire your brain. I want you to think differently about raising your standards. So this isn't, what we don't want to do here is go out and absolutely smash. What we don't do is say, right, I'm going to go and run a half marathon. I haven't done any exercise the last 6 months, and I'm going to go and try and run a half marathon, because it'll be over before it started. It'll be a complete flop. It'll be a complete failure. It's more of a rewiring your brain to constantly change things just incrementally. So here's some examples that I used on Profit Entrepreneur the other day. The first is like when you empty the bin. So some people, and I can tell this when I go around the houses, some people's standard is that they empty the bin when it needs emptying. The bin starts to fill up, gets towards the top, they tie it in a knot, they carry it out, they put it in the bin, they come back, they put a new bag in, and that's just their standard. You know, they set their bar there, they empty the bin when it needs to be emptied. Whereas some people, you go around the house and the bin is overflowing, they're crushing it down, the lid's overflowing, the lid's not even closing now, there's now rubbish on the worktop because it won't fit in the bin. And their standard is they'll leave it until they can actually be bothered to empty it, or they'll leave it until they physically can't fit any more stuff in it or on the side, or they'll leave it there until it actually stinks. You know, it's like, what is your standard with something like emptying the bin? You know, that illustrates standard, you know, where your standards are. And then what we want to do is change it. You know, start taking the bin out sooner rather than later. Take it out when it needs emptying, not when it has to be emptied. Another one would be like morning routine is, what do you do the first thing you wake up? You know, if your standard is you wake up, you turn your phone on, and then you're looking at social media, WhatsApp, newspapers, whatever, you know, you're just looking at crap on your phone, is that your standard? Or like some people that is their standard. Their standard is they wake up, you know, the first thing is the bang, the lights in their face, the multicolours, the dopamine drivers are all being sucked out, and that's their standard. Or is your standard that when you go to bed, you put your phone in the office, you know, or at the end of the day, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., you put your phone in the office, you put it on charge, and that's it until 10 o'clock the next morning. That's your standard. And instead, you get up, you have a pot of green tea, you read your book, you maybe go get some steps in, or you go to the gym, and that's just your standard. Your standard is you do that. And hopefully you can get the gauge that higher standards tend to be better than lower standards. And You just do it gradually, bit by bit. You start putting your phone in the office, right, or in a kitchen drawer at night rather than taking it to bed. You don't need a phone in the bedroom with you. You need an alarm clock. If it's an emergency, maybe you do. Maybe in that case, you leave it at the end of the room. I don't take my phone in the bedroom. It's in the office. It stays in the office, and I don't go on it after 6, 7 p.m. And I don't go on it in the morning till, depends on what time of year it is, 8, 9, 10 a.m. because it's a distraction. It's not going to be high value. There's other things that I need to and want to do there. Think about, the clothes you wear. Maybe your standard is that if it's doesn't stink, you'll wear it, or if it's clean, you'll wear it, or maybe your standard is that you iron everything, or maybe your standard is that everything goes to a dry cleaner, and your shirts you wear to work are pressed by a dry cleaner, or you iron them yourself, and your standard is they have to have a lovely, nice, sharp crease down the sleeve. That's your standard, is that you won't wear a shirt unless it's ironed, it's pressed, it's got a nice crease down the arm. Or is your standard that actually if it's clean, you'll wear it, so it's all scrumpled up, it's untucked, and that's just your standard. What is your standard? Maybe you wear the suits you wear to work, or the suits, for example, that I wear on stage. I used to always wear a fitted shirt, custom-made shirt, fitted suit, because on stage you want to be smart, you want to be well presented. But as I travelled through my journey, the last couple of years of bulking weight, changing weight, growing muscle mass, I've stopped wearing fitted shirts, my tailored shirts and my fitted suits because they don't fit me. And then I started wearing other things. But then one of my team members said, why do you not wear fitted shirts anymore? Why do you not wear fitted suits? And I thought, do you know what? That's really good. That's a really good point. The reason I don't is because my standards have dropped. I'd allowed my standards to drop. So now I've just had, with my new size, I've just had my custom-made shirts retailored. I've just had my suit. I've just had a new suit tailor fitted. And now I'm wearing it again. I'm like, wow, I forgot how good it feels to wear a tailored suit. But that's now my new standard. I now will wear tailored suits again, smart suits. I've raised my standard. And what I want to do is think about what your standards are and how can we raise them. So when we're thinking about this, there's 3 steps to it, which I'm going to take you through. And one thing to note is that this isn't hit 0 to hero. Where people get this wrong is they go, oh yeah, I haven't done any exercise in the last 3 years, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to the gym 7 times a week, I'm going to live off lettuce and dust, and I'm going to run a half marathon on Wednesday afternoon. What will happen is by this time Saturday, they'll be exhausted, they'll be burnt out, they'll be disappointed, they'll be deflated, and they'll be drinking beer, eating cakes, and they'll be back further than they were before they even started. What you want to do is just think about what are the gradual things you can do, like empty the bin, start ironing your shirts, get up earlier rather than later, start eating 3 meals a day rather than 2, not eating crisps and chocolate every day, eating it once a week, going out and getting 5,000 steps a day, and then getting the momentum going. Don't go out and say, I'm going to do 20,000 steps a day for the next year. And what you do is you just do these little things and you get what's called success triggers. So you do it once, get the ball rolling. Yeah, I got, my phone was in the office last night, or I got up and I didn't go on my phone until 10 a.m. Or I was like, wow, that's amazing. Oh, now I didn't get up till 10 a.m. and actually I did some journaling. Actually, I read a book. Actually, I had a pot of green tea and some vitamin C and some water to rehydrate myself after sleeping. Now I'm reading my book. I'm having my green tea. I'm doing my vitamin C. Maybe I'll go for some steps. Now I've got 5,000 steps in. Tomorrow I'm going to get 6. Then I get 6,000. The more you do, these are called like habit stacking, doing it bit by bit, gradually doing it, not trying to break records on day one. And what you'll find is the more you do, the more you want to do. So now it feels good. It feels good. I'm getting my steps in the morning. Wow, I'm loving this. Feels good. The more you do, the more you want to do. And then this success triggers momentum. Firing up the flywheel will get it going. But what you'll find as well is the less you do with those bad habits, the less you do, the less you actually can do. So the less you do is in like, if you don't go and walk 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10, 12. I'm now at the minute, because I'm doing a weight cut, doing 15,000 steps a day. And as long as I get them in with my habits in the morning, in the afternoon, a couple in the evening, I don't even notice it. It's my standard. It's my habit. The more you do, the more you want to do because you're motivated. You're feeling good. It's working well. But the less you do, the less you can do. If you're not used to walking 15,000 steps a day, the energy just to start off with is going to be almost impossible. The habits and the routine and the time that it takes is going to be very, very challenging to actually do. The more you do, the more you want to do, but the less you do, the less you can do. Layer it on bit by bit, compound it up, habit stack, move you forward. And these three things will be what gets them to be in your actual standards. So think about raising your standards. Think about the people you want to be like. Their standards are. So think about my standards. My standards are going to the gym 4 times a week with a personal trainer, doing cardio 4 times a week after my weights workout, eating clean food because I've done it for years, primarily sourdough and eggs and smoked salmon for breakfast, for lunch, rice and a protein and some vegetables, or for dinner, rice, broccoli, chicken, stir fry, Asian food, sushi, just stuff that's clean. It's not processed. It's not deep fat fried. I don't like that stuff anymore. It's just my standard. I wouldn't go out and eat fish and chips because whilst for the 20 minutes that I ate it, it might make me feel satisfied in a binge mentality. Afterwards, I would feel like crap. The next day, I wouldn't feel great. My sleep would be rubbish. My energy levels would be low. I've done them for long enough. They're just my standards. What standards are the people that you want to be like? What standards do they have? I do part run on a Saturday now because it's just like habit stacking, adding it in, layering these things up. What are your standards and where do you want to get to? The people you look up to, the people you aspire to be like, what are their standards? They release a piece of high value content on social media every day. They make 10 sales calls every afternoon without fail. They go and speak at a public speaking event once a fortnight, even though they hate it, because they're raising their profile. What are the things that they do that you want to do, that you need to do? And then what we do is you look at them, you figure out where you want to get to, and then this is the 3 steps to creating standards. The first is rules. So just create some rules. So my rules are I'm going to go for a walk every morning. Before I use my phone, before I open my laptop, my new rule is I'm going to go for a walk every morning. Or my new rule is I don't drink alcohol during the week. Or I don't drink alcohol at all. But let's just start simple. I don't drink. Or if you drink alcohol every night, I don't drink on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Every other day, break it up. Then I only drink once in the week on a Wednesday. Then I don't drink at all in the week. I only drink on a Friday and a Saturday. Then I only drink once a week. I only drink on a Friday or a Saturday. Then maybe I don't drink at all. Build these things up. Set these rules and just create what are your rules going to be. So my rule is I wear a fitted suit on stage when I'm speaking. My rule is I go for a walk every morning before I do anything else. My rule is I drink a pot of green tea and a vitamin C tablet and 250 millilitres of water every morning. You set these rules for yourself. I'm not going to eat junk food or sugar or just crap either period or during the week. Set those rules. And then initially you'll find it quite challenging. This is why we break it down and do it bit by bit. Do that, stick to the rule, and then after 28 days, the rule will become a habit. And actually going out and getting steps in the morning will not only not be hard, it will be enjoyable. Because it's enjoyable, it's easy. And then it becomes a habit because you're doing it now. Getting up and not using your phone. The first few days is going to be a nightmare. You're going to be like, oh, where's my phone? Reaching out for it, waking up in the night, where is it? What happens if somebody needs me? Obviously, you need to have provisions in place for that, but have all this separation anxiety from not using your phone. But then after 28 days, it's just a habit. You finish the day, working day, you leave your phone in the office, you put it in the drawer. Your habit is I'm going to finish work at 6. Initially, it's going to, or 5, or 4, or 3. Initially, it's going to be weird. It's going to be, I should be doing some more work. This is strange. What do I do now? This is weird. But then after 28 days, it becomes a habit. And actually, it's nice. It's enjoyable. It's serving you well. And all those anxieties have disappeared because it's a habit now. And then after 28 days, when it becomes a habit, once you've done it for 90 days, it becomes a standard. My standard just is that I go to the gym 4 times a week. my standard is that since 2012, I've got up pretty much every morning where it's available and drunk a big pot of green tea. It's just my standard. I know it's good for me. It's good for you. There's lots of health benefits. It's good for your body. It's good for your hydration. It's good for your cognitive thinking. There's loads of reasons why it's good for you. But it's just my standard. It's not even a habit. I don't even think about it. It's a standard as in, if I don't do it, I feel odd. I feel weird. I feel like I've missed out on something. I don't like it. I go away. I take my green tea bag, my matcha green tea bags and my lemon and ginger tea bags away with me because it's just a standard. It's just the way that I do what I do because I've done it for so long. I've done it for not just 3 months or 90 days. I've done it for 3 years. I've done it for a decade. This is how you create standards. Rules becomes habit. Habits become standards. And just think about what you want them to do and do it. And just remember, and then slow and steady wins the race. Just remember, do it bit by bit. Do a bit, then a bit more, then a bit more. Do 4,000 steps, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15. Go to the gym once a week, twice a week, 3 times, 4 times a week. Do your cardio. You know, rather than trying to get 250 calories in 20 minutes, do whatever pace you can, 20 minutes. Just think, right, all I need to do is get 20 minutes. That's the first step. Then do it a little. Then do 20 minutes a little bit faster. Then think, right, well, I'm gonna do however long it takes to do 250 calories, which might be 35 minutes. Then I'm going to do it in 34 minutes, then 33 minutes, 32 minutes. Slow and steady wins the race. Habit stacking. The more you do, the more you want to do. Get the momentum going, the success triggers, you know, the compound effects, gamify it. 26, 24, 28, 27, 26, 25 minutes. Wow, now I'm doing it. This is me now. This is a habit. This is what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. The more I do, the more I want to do. And you just keep it going. Think about yours. Think about yours now, and just think about the standards you want to have. Think about the people you want to be like and what standards they've got, but also the habits that you've got or the standards you've got that are low. You know, that you drink in the week. That's probably not a high performance habit. It's probably adding very little value to what you do. You only eat once a day. You know, you get up, you don't eat anything. You have a coffee with 10 sugars. Yeah, you live off coffee and water till 5 in the afternoon, and then you stuff your face with 3,000 calories in the evening. You have crisps and dinner and dessert and ice cream. It's probably not a good standard to have. You don't go to the gym at all. You don't get steps. You know, what bad habits have you got? What bad standards have you got? What do you aspire to be like? And just start defining them. And then bit by bit, work your way up, create the rules, turn them into habits, 28 days. Turn the habits into standards after 90 days. And then bit by bit, every year, you'll become a better person. You'll feel better. You'll look better. Your results will be better. You'll be better driven. You'll feel good. And that gap between where you are and where you want to get to will rapidly decrease. So that's it. That's raising your standards. So go out there today. Think about what standards you want to increase. Close the gap. Raise your standards. And I guarantee do that over a period of days, weeks, months, and years, and you will consistently become a better person, get better results, and close the gap between where you are and where you want to get to. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next episode.